Day, and welcome to another episode of CNMI Weekly. Our entire show tonight is dedicated to the CNMI Public School System's Teacher of the Year finalists. We'll get to meet all five of them throughout the night.
Good morning, Day, Tiro. My name is Darlene O'Don. Currently, I teach pre-AP ELA for ninth graders at Marianas High School. I have been teaching for 23 years. I have taught in first grade for 2 years, third grade for 5. I have taught in Hopwood before I became Hopwood Middle School, Hopwood Junior High School for 10 years. Then I returned after being in the elementary school system for 3 years. And then I'm up here at Marianas High School now.
Wow, so over 2 decades of experience. Bring us back to over 2 decades ago. What made you want to become a teacher?
To be honest, what made me want to become a teacher is to give back to the community. I am a former student of the public school system, and I truly learned a lot of things from my former teachers. And when the opportunity came up to become a teacher, I took it. And I wanted to be able to provide what I learned from all of my positive educators before, to provide that type of support I got as a learner, and also to connect to the community and the families here in the CNMI. As I have moved from elementary school, I have built those foundations with the community and my students' families, that now as pre-AP ELA and ninth grade teacher, I have been meeting a lot of my former students and connecting to their families, and it's such a wonderful experience to be a teacher, to know that you are part of this journey with the students, with the families, and the community.
And so, in all of your years of experience, what do you enjoy about the job? What's your favorite part of teaching?
I'll share several. One joy of being a teacher is seeing those moments when the students fully understand, when they master a learning concept, and they've mastered a learning skill that they have been using as they progress through their education, and meeting former students who are part of the community, part of PSS, and knowing that I was part of that journey. Also, like I said, meeting former family members and knowing that, being able to connect to them and letting them know that I'm going to be there to help and guide their child in their educational journey. That's the greatest part of being a teacher.
And what is your teaching style? Are there any unique things you do to help students learn? What's your approach in the classroom? If I were to take, Mrs. Darlene's class, what kind of experience might I expect?
Yes. So my teaching style has changed as the years have gone by, and I have received and participated in many professional development trainings on how to meet children's needs, to provide that support. So my teaching style right now is student-centered, where I provide them the strategies and skills that motivate them to foster their confidence, to dig deep and explore literature, to use strategies that they learned to break apart what a story means and be able to write and process what they learned, to be able to come back or to use it in the class to also support their peers, to be able to understand even the literature. So currently it is student-centered, where my classroom is, as a teacher, I guide the students, but the students get the skills and I provide it to them and they master it, and then they take that and they use it within the class independently as well as collaboratively with their peers. And now currently they're using those skills to use it in the presentation and also as a teach back with their peers. And it's such a wonderful thing to see that the students are learning it, using it, and then presenting it. And Yes, that's my teaching style. It's student-centered, where the teaching is focused on students gaining those valuable skills.
My name is Yeji Lee. This year makes me 6 years of teaching at William S. Regis Elementary School, or WSR. I taught in a self-contained classroom teaching multiple subjects as a fifth grade teacher for 4 years, and now this year makes a second year of being a science teacher, teaching fifth grade students. And our school decided to implement departmentalizing, so I only teach science as a core main subject.
Great. And so bring us back to 6 years ago or more than 6 years ago. Tell us why you became a teacher.
Ooh, I became a teacher to really pay forward what I have received and all the support that shaped me who I am today. So I am a Korean American immigrant, first generation Korean American immigrant, born in the CNMI, raised mostly in South Korea, and later on I moved to California before returning to CNMI. I faced a lot of challenges in terms of navigating culture differences and learning English as my second language as a sixth grader. So it was very difficult, yet I was helped by many numerous dedicated teachers, and I was able to be here who I am as an educator teaching in English. And I don't think I would have been here without their support, and I'm here to return back all the help that I received as a student.
And so what's your favorite part about the job?
Like many of my colleagues, I continue to be an educator because it's incredibly rewarding. And out of all if I have to pick one out of all, my favorite part would be working with students and seeing their successes. And I'm not just talking about their academic successes like test scores. I'm talking their personal growth. Like for instance, my students who could not read, did not understand the language itself, now became a confident reader, on grade level reader who can read a whole full paragraph. That, like, witnessing those successes, small to big successes, it makes me enjoy what I do every day as a teacher.
And what is your teaching style? When someone enters your classroom, what can they expect, and how do you engage with students?
I try my best to make it engaging and fun for my students. For one, it is very hard to engage 105 fifth graders in 50-minute blocks to teach science. I mean, science is a fun subject already, it's given, but then I have to make sure that it is fun for and relatable for my students. So I make sure that I bring this lesson content into something that fall under my students' interest. For example, currently we're working on engineering design process. So I start on my lesson by saying, what are the games that you like, you enjoy? Let's talk about it. Tell me why it is your best game than the other game that you just talked about.
And so what's your advice to other educators? Maybe they're just starting out, they're in year one. What's your advice to other teachers?
To be honest, as beginning my 6th year of teaching at this moment, I still see myself as a learner, and I believe there's so much more I need to learn to be a better educator. Yet, I see this question as one piece of advice that I would offer to myself, as well as my colleagues. I would say find a balance between your work and your social emotional well-being, because as I said earlier, teaching is very, very rewarding, yet it can be very challenging every day. And I think it is easy to devote yourself, your energy to support your student in a classroom, but then you oftentimes forget about yourself, forget about your social well-being, and you left very exhausted and overwhelming. And I myself, as a mom of two toddlers, at the same time as being a teacher, I really learned that teacher burnout is real, and it does come in like when you are least expected it. So for Goodyear, I really did try to hard to be a good teacher and good mom, it was very hard. It was overwhelming. It was overstimulating every day. And I feel like I was very drained in my classroom at the same time as my home, not fully there for my students and my own children. So over the past year, I really learned myself. I have to make time for myself and my family, and that is very important. And if we don't check in ourselves, uh, it and we don't really recharge ourselves, we are risking losing the passion, that the energy and passion that brought us to this profession in the first place. So I think we do owe ourselves and our students to set the boundaries, seek support when we need, all those fun stuff.
Welcome back to the show. Here's more from the CNMI PSS Teacher of the Year finalists.
So hello, my name is Marilyn Tabana. I am at the Francisco M. Sablon Middle School. I teach 6th grade math, and I've been teaching it for 3 years, and this is my 4th year here.
All right, and so tell me about why you wanted to become a teacher.
When I was a student, I actually really enjoyed coming to school. And I was also one of those students who would help out her classmates a lot. And when I was going to graduate high school, I asked myself, what did I want to do in the future? And I thought about how I just really liked teaching things to my classmates, making things easier for them to understand. So I decided to become a teacher because of that.
I guess that kind of answers the second question, but maybe talking a little bit more about your day-to-day, what's your favorite part of teaching? What do you enjoy most about the job?
One thing I really enjoy about the job is I also teach one of the most disliked subjects, which is math. And a lot of students come into my classroom already with that dislike ingrained in them. So to see them come to like it a little bit more, or finally understand the concepts that made math so not approachable to them, really does make the teaching rewarding for me. And also it's a place where most of my social interaction happens. A lot of these kids have many stories to tell, and I really like getting to know all of these kids on top of teaching. So just learning about their hobbies, what they did over the weekend. It's a lot that goes on in one day. So I guess it's never expecting what's going to happen. That's what makes teaching so interesting for me. And that's one of my favorite parts as well.
And what is your teaching style? I guess especially for a subject that students might come in with, some stigma attached to it. I mean, what is your teaching style? When I walk into your classroom, what can I expect to, engage with?
My teaching style, or what I believe as a teacher, is I try to reach every learner in my classroom. I know how it feels not to understand something and then you just shut down. So as a teacher, I try my best to reach every student in my classroom. It's not possible all the time, but I want these kids to be able to get something out of being in my classroom. So if they're not able to understand a concept, even if I have to spend extra time teaching it to them, I will take the time to do that. And I also try to keep my classroom also a little traditional as well. I always model each lesson to my students step by step, and then I have them do the work. So it's always the teacher first and then have the students do it after. That's how I run my classroom, especially with math.
And I wanted to ask what your advice to other educators is. Maybe, there are teachers in school right now studying to become teachers, or maybe someone is starting their first day on the job. Maybe what would your advice be now after working for, the amount of years you have?
My advice to future teachers is that this job is, although it can be a little scary at times, it is a very rewarding job. Not every job you ever see is where you're not only teaching students, but you're also trying to understand them both personally at that level, and just being that adult for them that they may not have at home, that they can approach, and be that safe place for them at school, is also one of the things that you're going to realize when you become a teacher. And my advice to the current teachers is also for them to just keep doing what they're doing. This is such a really amazing job. And I have so much respect for those teachers who continue to do this after so many years. Their work never goes unnoticed, and I really appreciate what they do for our students, especially here on our islands.
Welcome back to the show. Here's more from the CNMI PSS Teacher of the Year finalists.
My name is Christina Rus. I teach at Ole Elementary School. I teach 5th grade, and I've been teaching, this is my 4th year teaching.
And can you tell us a little bit about why you became a teacher? Bring us back to the very first day you thought, I want to do this.
So I am actually a product of the CNMI public school system, and I wanted to give back to my community. Originally, after graduating from high school, I wanted to be an accountant, but then I reflected on how much my teachers impacted my life. And so then I realized that maybe I wanted to major in education, and I did, and I've been loving it so far.
And what is your favorite part of teaching? What's your favorite part of the job?
My favorite part of teaching is seeing the students' aha moments. I love to see their faces glow when they finally understand something, and it's just a very rewarding feeling.
And what is your teaching style, I guess, for 5th grade? Like when a student enters your classroom, what can they expect? How do you engage them?
I try to be flexible and adapt to their needs. Every student is different, and not one way works for all. So I usually begin lessons with a whole group, and then I try to figure out who needs more help, who needs more support, and then I go on from there.
And what's your advice to other educators? You know, maybe people who want to be teachers, or maybe someone's just starting to be a teacher. What would you tell them? What's your advice?
My advice is to adapt to the trends of education. Education is always changing. It's not going to be the same forever. So we need to use the technology given to us to help us enhance our teaching and, enhance student learning as well.
And what type of support do you need personally in the classroom right now? It's a really challenging job. So what kind of support would you say you need specifically?
For me, it would be parental involvement. Because when they start off in kinder, parental involvement's really high. But then as they go through the grade levels, it kind of dwindles down. So having parental involvement would be great, because students thrive when they see their parents or their guardians involved. And then when they see that their adult is interested in them, it motivates them to do better.
And lastly, we're talking because you are one of the finalists for Teacher of the Year. I mean, can you just tell us how you felt when you saw this news? I mean, it's a really great recognition.
Thankful and blessed after speaking with, my support system, my school. They've helped build my confidence.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back to the show. Here's more from the CNMI PSS Teacher of the Year finalists.
Hi, my name is Patricia Dong Munya. I am a second grade teacher at Gregorio T. Camacho Elementary School, GTC, and I have been teaching for almost 16 years, teaching all the content areas in second grade.
Wow, 16 years. I mean, take us back to 16 years ago. Why did you want to be a teacher?
I think working with young children, students has always been something that was with me. And so, what way to give back, right, to our community than to become a teacher and help to educate our young children, to also become those successful citizens in our society, and also finding their successes and finding their purpose in our overall society or community.
And what is your favorite part of teaching? What do you enjoy most about it?
I really enjoy watching the students grow and thrive in their daily learning and just in their overall development. I also enjoy the interaction when students are working together, interacting with one another, building community, learning from one another. And really, it's really comes to show that their growth is very important, and it's fulfilling to me that their interactions in the classroom will one day be something that they will do in their future, wherever the road, their success path takes them.
Great. And so tell us a little bit about your teaching style. I guess when someone walks into your classroom, what can they expect? How do you, engage with students?
I think my teaching style would have to say really incorporates both teacher-centered and student-centered style, where the teacher, it's very important, especially for the young learners, presenting the background information and important knowledge and ideas to help build students' understanding of the content and the concepts that they are supposed to learn. And then at the same time, thinking about the diverse learners that we have in our class and tailoring to their development and their growth, and making their learning fit their needs so that they can all thrive in the classroom. We have from visual to auditory to those students that like hands-on and need movement. I think nowadays I'm really experiencing a lot of the kids that are really into movement, and I think a lot of it also has to do with the idea that we are in this digital age where they're not just learning from within the four walls of a classroom, but a lot of learning also happens from what they see around in their environment outside of the classroom. And so again, incorporating that use of technology and having that balance between having technology to help support our students' overall academic growth and making it fun for them, tailoring to our digital citizens of today.
Being a teacher is not easy, and perhaps there are other teachers out there just starting, or maybe students who want to be teachers. So what's your advice to them? Maybe, thinking back to your very first day on the job, maybe you had some anxiety or, nervousness. I mean, what would you say to young teachers or students who want to be teachers?
I would say, there's not a lot of people that want to be in our position. And so for those coming into it, really, really take into account all those important knowledge that we need to know about how children grow and develop, and continue to hold on to that passion and to do our best for those of us who are in the classroom, to continue to show up, do our best to show up for our students, because I think our children need us out the most at this point. with a lot of things that we have experienced in the last couple of years, several years. A lot of things have changed, and so we want to learn how to adapt and just continue to do our best to rally together, and it's really for our kids and helping to guide them in a path that will bring them to success in their future.
Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of CNMI Weekly as we feature the CNMI Public School System Teacher of the Year finalists. We'll see you right here, same time, same place next week.